Welcome to the Joe Miller Show, KON, Hot Talk, 1080 AM, 95.1 FM. Recently, there was an article in the New York Times that talked about the use of rape in the Middle East, and particularly what ISIS was doing with various women that they had captured. And it was probably the first mainstream left-wing type publication that really gave a detailed analysis of what was going on, suggesting that, it's not just hyperbole or isolated incidents, but there is a widespread problem with sexual abuse by many of these radicals in Islamic countries. But specifically Afghanistan, this has been an ongoing problem. The practice, by the way, that senior officers told this Lance Corporal was cultural. It's actually got a name. It's called bakabazi, and it's literally called boy play. And American soldiers and Marines, they've been instructed not to intervene, and this even occurs, the instruction, the order not to intervene, even when the Afghan police officers are abusing boys on military bases. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Now, think about this for a second. Our bases have Afghan allies, police officers, posted, and according to these reports, they're abusing sexually young boys. This has happened for years, and of course, nobody weeding out the pedophiles. In many cases, the U.S. military is arming them. Sometimes they are even placing known pedophiles as commanders of villages and doing very little at all when news is reported that they're abusing children. And, there's a special forces captain, we've reported on this before, who pushed this American-backed militia commander who kept a boy chained to his bed as a sex slave. And he said, look, this is a quote from the special forces captain, we were putting people into power who would do things that were worse than the Taliban did. That was something village elders voiced to me, end quote. Everybody that's listening to this ought to be absolutely outraged. The Senate, the House, hearings should be held. This administration is out of control. The Afghan policy, out of control. The Middle East policy, designed to destroy American interest. This is a president that should have been impeached a long time ago, and it's pathetic that he got reelected. He is responsible. I mean, this news has been out for years about what's going on over there, and yet he continues it. But you know what? When you put perverts in office, you end up with problems like this. I mean, I'm just going to tell it straight. Yep, I'll get attacked for that comment. There's no doubt that if I ever run for office again, somebody's going to replay it. But that's the short of it. Yeah, sexual abuse is no big deal from many of these people's perspectives, and yet it is. And when we take over a country and we sit back and we allow these people to have positions of power and conduct themselves in worse way than the Taliban, it ought to outrage every solitary person in this great country. And you know what it also ought to do? It ought to just enrage those that have served, those that have put their lives on the line, like this Lance Corporal who gave his life in Afghanistan. What did he give it for with this garbage going on? What did he give it for? I mean, what have we accomplished in the Middle East? It is in disarray. It is in far worse condition today than it was when Saddam Hussein was in power. It's in far worse condition today than when Muammar Gaddafi was in power. Both evil tyrants, no question about it. But you look at what's going on today. I mean, I've talked about this on the show before. Millions of Christians, a vibrant Christian community in Iraq, gone. When? When we were in control of the country. Look at the Christian community in Syria, getting abused, getting tortured, getting captured, sex slaves by ISIS. What do? We turn the other way. What do? We actually empower ISIS. At least that's what we did originally. And what do we do with our refugee program? Well, if you're Muslim, come on in. But if you're Christian, no entry allowed. That is absolutely outrageous. It's un-American, and it reflects why this president is bad for America and always has been. You know what? It's not just his fault. It's all of our fault because we don't stand up to this type of horrific leadership that is completely contrary to what this country was founded on, to what this country, what its founders intended for it. What about those senior military leaders? Where are they? Where's the 4-star general? Where are the 3-star generals? Why aren't they standing up and saying, this cannot continue? I'll tell you why. Because they're a bunch of brown nosers who are only concerned about their retirement, promotion, and making sure that they maintain the correct political line because they've given up fighting for their country. Stay with us, The Joe Miller Show. Back after this.